Good morning, seniors. This is Mrs. McGeehan from the guidance office with some of the school counselors to say to you, hello, how are you? We miss you. And you are in the home stretch, kiddos. So we want you to enjoy every minute, but there's also a lot of things you have to do in the next 6 weeks to get ready to walk across that stage. So we need you to be engaged, check your emails, ask us questions, make sure all of your stuff is ready to go, and really just make the most of the next 6 weeks. A lot of the things that we're talking about here, you can follow up with us later individually, but please know that we're here to help you make the most of the end of your high school career. So I am going to hand it over to Mrs. Driscoll, who's going to start us off here.
Hello, seniors. How are you? Mrs. Driscoll, school counselor. Good to see you all. So a couple things to think about. Number one, there is a survey that will be going out to you through your PE teacher's Google Classroom. Please complete that survey. That's really important information for us as your counselors, and we need that. So please fill that out as completely as possible. And when you see it, just complete it right away if you can, please. So that's very important, first thing. Second, this is where we need you guys to finish strong. This is for you. This isn't for us. We want you guys to do your very best and end on a high note. Couple of things that we need you to think about. Maintaining your grades, okay? You need to make sure that your grades are strong. Colleges sometimes still ask to see final grades. Actually, many colleges do. So it's important that you continue on a very positive trend, upward trend as you exit high school, okay? Any experiences that you have here, you want to make those meaningful. If you're involved in any clubs or sports, I mean, just really, you want to give everything your best, okay? Because this is your last time at Andrew High School. So we just want you to remember to finish your academics strong, to finish strongly with what you're involved in and your committed, efforts. It's really important that you do that. And that's going to be a trend and a characteristic that you want to have for the rest of your life, that you are, committed to what you do, okay? And that you work hard at it. So those are just my thoughts for you today. And then we are going to pass this on to Mr. Tadla, who is going to talk about grades a little bit.
Hey guys, how we doing? I'm going to piggyback over Mrs. Driscoll. It's a finishing strong, but it is grades matter in this last semester. And like Mrs. Driscoll said, I'll use a couple different buckets. First of all, grades matter because we have to pass everything to graduate. If we're in a situation where maybe we're not passing a required class or something we need for graduation, we have 9 weeks to go. You really need to communicate with your teachers and use all the supports that are available here. The center, there's any second hour interventions, mandatory T-bolt time, anything that we offer during the homeroom, after school. You really have to communicate with the teachers. I know we're into the final stretch, but graduation requirements are not going to disappear or go away. So if it is a graduation requirement and you need it, you really, really have to be talking to your teachers and working out a plan, because we don't want you to be held back because, we didn't pass that last semester of English, or something happened in PE, or we're in a class that we need. We got to get the 21.5 credits. All right. It matters across the board as well. Like Mrs. Driscoll says, the final transcript will be sent out. Colleges are going to want to see how you finish up. So the grades do matter. Don't get caught in senioritis. I mean, it's a long shot, but applications and admissions have been pulled because of lack of a poor second semester transcript. We don't want that to happen to you. It's rare, but it has happened. Okay, so the grades do matter. How you're finishing up. If you're going into the trades or the military, they are going to look at that. They're not going to want to see a senior who was doing whatever BC work, and then that senior year they fall down to C-, D+ work. All right. So these, I know it's cliche-ish, but I'm telling you this from experience. The grades do matter. A, B, C, D, F as we're moving through. So if you, again, especially if you are in a graduation conundrum, you need to be working this out with your teachers so we're not getting any surprises in late May. All right. So we want you finish strong. I know that was a little harsh message, but I just want you guys to finish strong and get out of here as the best that you possibly can be. Okay. So I'm turning it over to Mrs. Kramer for the next section of our presentation. So thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mr. Tadla. Yeah, Ms. Kramer here. Just want to talk to you about another graduation requirement, which is the FAFSA. I know that you've heard us talking about the FAFSA for a few years. This is the free application for federal student aid application. You have to fill that out. The Illinois State Board of Education has decided that this is a graduation requirement for you guys are the first year that you have to have this completed. So you need to fill out the FAFSA. There's still a few of you that have not done this. So since this is a graduation requirement, you have to make sure that you get this done. If for some reason you cannot fill out the FAFSA, you need to let your counselor know. There is a form that we can fill out, which is a non-participation waiver form. So you would need to fill it out. I think a parent would have to sign it if you're not 18, but we either have to have that FAFSA filed or we have to have the waiver form on file. So remember, no FAFSA, no graduation. So please make sure you fill out your FAFSA. There is a lot of help. Every Friday, Mr. Daly is hosting a FAFSA Friday. So this is a way for you to get some help filling out that FAFSA form. So please, if you have not done this yet, please, you want to make sure that you get on it. So I am going to now turn this over to Mr. Fabrizio to talk a little bit about the college part.
Hi, everybody. Welcome, seniors. As we start to get towards the end of the year, no matter what you guys are doing, whether it be going to community college, four-year school, trades, military, work, some people might be taking a year off. Whatever the case may be, when you get to the end of the year, we'll have a senior checkout, okay? And you'll meet with your counselors in addition to, a couple other stations that you'll go to. And on there, a lot of information you'll fill out for senior checkout. And one of the things is you will designate where your final transcript is going to be going. Okay, so I know a lot of the students I work with still have not made up their mind in terms of what they're doing. Okay, but anywhere that's going to require a transcript, and especially is noted by either 2-year school or 4-year school. So whether you're going to Moraine or you are going to a 4-year school, okay, one important factor is to make sure that all the places that you did apply to, okay, that you're not going to. So let's say you applied to 5 schools. And you chose your school, it's important that you designate to that school your commitment and honor that commitment. Yes, I'm going to be going to Illinois State. You let them know that, that's communicated. But then the other 4 schools that you applied to that you are not going to, okay, it's important that you notify them that you're not going to them. Okay, a simple email would suffice just to let them know. Okay, you got to remember they have thousands of kids applying. So, their numbers are skewed in terms of they want to be able to close out who's not coming, who is coming, who's still waiting. Okay, so it's important for us to maintain a good reputation as a school of letting those schools know that we're not attending them. Okay, so that's the responsibility of you guys. Okay, in addition, when you guys do graduate, you guys are going to lose all your Google information, your Google account, and your school email. Okay, so one thing that's important that I would suggest, if there's anything that you have, I would look to transfer it into your personal emails or personal databases, whatever the case may be, so that you have it, especially moving forward. If the school that you have chosen to go to has your school email, then they're going to keep trying to email you potentially throughout the summer, and you're not going to have that account. Okay, so you need to make sure that that information gets forwarded to your personal email, and or make sure that you guys switch that information with the school that you choose so that they can contact you throughout the summer. Okay, best of luck. Make sure you guys take advantage of the last month and a half here of enrichments, and any other things that we can help you with. We're here for you. Okay, back to Mrs. McGeehan.
Hey guys, so along with telling schools that you're not going to, you need to make sure that you're in contact if you're going away to a school or going to a 4-year or 2-year school and staying home. You need to make sure they know to expect you. So make sure that you are in contact with them. Check your portals. You should have a student portal. Say I'm going to Northern. I would have a Northern portal. I need to check on that portal. Check on my housing. Do they have my financial aid? Are there scholarship information on there for me? Are there emails in there that I need to be checking? Right now, you might be living in 2 different worlds, making sure your Andrew grades are good, checking with your Andrew emails. But now you also have to live in that I'm going to go be somewhere else soon world and maintaining any records that you have for them. They're going to have internal documents, deadlines. You know, you want to make sure you have good housing. All of that is a big responsibility, which is part of post-secondary life. So they're expecting that you are keeping up with their correspondence. So stay with your Andrew correspondence, but also your college correspondence is very important at this point too. We don't want you to miss out on anything important, okay? Mr. Tadla is going to talk to you a little bit more about a few things such as parchment, because once again, it's really important that all the documents get where they need to be so that you have smooth sailing into your next post-secondary adventure.
Hey, seniors, Mr. Tadla back here. We're going to kind of go around the circle here. I got a couple topics we're going to hit. The first one is going to be NCAA. So this is kind of a sporty thing. I'm going to hit this around the corner here. And we're going to get moving. If NCAA, if you are in the clearinghouse as a senior, we will send your final transcript. All right. So the final transcript will go to the clearinghouse probably in about mid-June. So if you're a Division I, Division II athlete and you're already through the clearinghouse, we will take care of that. Let me just hit this here and then we'll get to the next point. As far as that goes, you have to let, again, your coaches should know your status on where you're going next year and where you're going to be playing. Again, if you're a Division III athlete, this does not apply. This only applies to Division I and Division II on the eligibility center. But if you're NAI, you want to check their requirements as well. Division III, we will not need to send anything, but a Division I and a Division II athlete, we will automatically, hold on a minute. Thank you. Will automatically send your final transcript to your school. So make sure we know what that school is going to be. Let your counselor know what that school is going to be and what your final decision is going to be on that. All right. So that is about all we really need for the seniors, because most of the stuff you should be through here. Next, we are at, Mr. Mallon, stay with me. We're at the registrar's office. So as Mr. Fabrizio said, we have to make sure you have a Parchment account. You are responsible for sending your final transcripts through Parchment. We do not send final transcripts out. So you have to make sure it is your responsibility that your school that you're going to gets a final transcript. It happens very rarely, but we have colleges calling us like in August, like, hey, where's the final transcript for student X at college Y? And we're like, we didn't send them. The student is responsible for doing that. Okay. So you have to send that through. Like Mr. Fabrizio said, we're sending it to the school you're going to be going to, but it has to come through Parchment, and we have to do that online. All right. So we're going to work our way down. We got one more spot we got to go to. And we're going to work down to community service. All right. That was a pretty good shot. Just going to clean that off for me. All right. And we're going to work our way around the community service. Folks, at this point, we should have community service done. It is a graduation requirement. All right. We're going to stop here right at community. Mrs. Ballestri's not here, but I'm going to speak for her. So we have to have community service done. It is a graduation requirement. Just like I said about the grades, if you're getting an F in English or PE or a class that you need to be required, that's going to potentially put graduation into a problem. Community service will as well. You have to have your community service hours done. If you have not, I don't think we go to the Canvas page. I think you need to step up to this window when tomorrow or next hour and talk to Mrs. Balestri and get this straightened out, because it is a graduation requirement, just like 21 and a half credits, just like everything else. So I would implore you, she has stuff on the Google Canvas and her page, but I would say if you're in a community service bind, the next hour after you see this video, you need to come to her office and get this straightened out. All right? We've played around here, around the circle, and now I'm going to turn it back to the clubhouse to Mr. Daly, who's going to give you some stuff about enrichments. All right, guys? Take it easy now.
Hi, seniors. It's Mr. Daly. I'm going to go ahead and talk about a couple of different topics. And let me go ahead and share my screen. The first thing we're going to talk about is Moraine Valley scholarships. Now, many of you have told us that next year you are considering or planning to attend Moraine Valley in the fall. One of the biggest tips I have for any type of community college is to apply for the scholarships. And here's why. Even the smallest scholarships at a community college add up quickly. Because community colleges are so affordable, a little goes a long way. And so let's go ahead and talk about, so you can see on my screen, you see the Moraine Valley website. For the scholarship information, if you go to cost and aid, and then you go to scholarships, this is their scholarship page. Now you can see the scholarships at Moraine Valley are due on March 31st. Yes, that is tomorrow. So there is still time to apply. But please keep in mind, applications will not be accepted after that. So please make sure you make that March 31st deadline. You can apply by clicking the Apply Today button. This will take you to the Academic Works page at Moraine Valley. You can see they have over 200 scholarships that you can apply for. And basically what you do is, for the Moraine Valley scholarships, you fill out one application, and then that matches you with potential scholarships that apply to you. So for example, if you are a girl who is wanting to go into the STEM field, they might have a scholarship specifically for women in STEM so that you can potentially get that. So you don't have to apply for all of these one by one, but as you can see, there's so many options to choose from. And really understand that scholarships for this are not just for the top students. So sometimes we think, if I'm not a straight A student, I can't get a scholarship. There are scholarships for so many different reasons at Moraine Valley. So that is one thing to consider. So definitely do not miss that deadline. If no one applies for the scholarships or no one qualifies that applies, they actually can't give the money out. And from my time working at Joliet Junior College, I can tell you that sadly happens a lot. So make sure you apply. The chances are good that you'll get the money. Okay, so that's a big one. And then the next big one for a community college, I'm going to go back to the main page, is placement testing. So many of you have already been emailing me and emailing your counselors asking about, when can I pick classes? When can I pick classes? Well, we need to stop there and first talk about placement testing, because you can't pick classes at Moraine Valley until you've satisfied the placement procedures, okay? So what you're going to want to do is go under academics and go to testing services. And Moraine Valley offers a lot of testing, but they have their own page for placement testing, okay? So you're going to click that. Here is information. You can take the placement test at the main campus, but you can also take it at the Tinley Park campus really close to school. So please keep that in mind as well. There's a lot of great drop-down menus that you have here. You know, when do I take it? How do I register? The big one I would look at is placement test exemptions. So if you have a certain score on your SAT or your ACT, sometimes you can be exempt from having to take the placement test, which means you do not have to take the placement test. They will automatically place you into college level English and math, okay? And Moraine Valley added another dimension to this year in terms of GPA and classes that you've taken. So read through these exemptions, because the chances are some of you might not even ever have to take a placement test, but you want to see if you qualify. Now, in the senior survey, we ask a very important question about, do you want VJA guidance to send either and your transcript and or your SAT score to Moraine Valley? And you're probably thinking, why do we ask that? We ask that because, again, some of you might be exempt. So if you plan to attend Moraine Valley, you should have clicked yes to that question. If you didn't, just email your counselor. We can fix that, but we will communicate with Moraine Valley about various test scores, okay? But just a reminder, as Mr. Tadla said, and as Mr. Fabrizio mentioned, you are responsible for your final transcript. So we can send the one now that might help you with placement testing, but we cannot send the one at the end of the year. You will need to do that through Parchment, okay? And as always, feel free to reach out to us, but this is a really, really important step of the process in terms of picking your classes for college, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and show a quick video about some upcoming senior enrichments that you have available to you that you can take advantage of. Hey seniors, here are some upcoming enrichments and opportunities. The first is Moraine Monday. Every Monday during lunch periods, I'm available in the senior Google Classroom to help with anything related to the Moraine Valley process. Whether you need help with applying or scholarships or looking over your financial aid for Moraine Valley, I can help you get set for the fall. Again, feel free to attend using the Google Meets link in the Google Classroom for the Senior Guidance Group. Another opportunity for you to get assistance is during the Nuts and Bolts office hours, which are held virtually in a Google Meets room every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. This is open to both juniors and seniors and is a great time for you to ask questions or get help with anything related to life after high school. Again, it's every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Check the Google Classroom because I post the code each week at that time. Seniors, just a reminder, if you haven't done so already, you also need to complete your FAFSA. That is a graduation requirement this year for high school students. And so you do need to either complete that or complete the State of Illinois alternative application or complete a FAFSA waiver. And I can provide this. I'm hosting the weekly FAFSA Fridays during T-Bolt time every Friday. You can sign up to attend that each week in Skyward. Again, we're using the Google Meets code in the senior Google Meets Google Classroom. So that's where you can go to enter. But again, every Friday is FAFSA Friday, and you do need to complete this. So even if you just want to get the waiver form, I can provide that at the FAFSA Friday as well. Hey, senior. All right, and I'm going to pass it to my good friend, Mr. Malik.
All right, seniors, class of 2021, it is here, right? We are in the final stretches of the year. The finish line is definitely within sight. We are so proud of you kids. You know, all the stuff that's been going on, you guys have you've done a really good job, all things considering, and it speaks volumes about you as individuals and how much you've grown during probably the most extreme times of any of our lives right now. So, you know, you've gotten a lot of good advice from my fellow counselors here. Great family up here. Just, you know, finish strong, keep it rolling, okay? Because sooner or later, we're getting out of this mess and we're going to move on with our lives and everything like that. And you guys have done a great job. And granted, don't get to see all of you as much as we'd like, but always feel free to continue to reach out to us, you know, either through email, would be the best way. But yeah, and we definitely like to know, you know, what your plans are. I think sometimes we're the last ones to find out sometimes, you know, and I know we're looking to survey you and stuff like that, but just keep in touch with us, okay? Kind of just piggybacking off of Mr. Daly just a little bit in terms of enrichments. We do have something coming up that might be of some interest to you, especially if you're still trying to figure some things out. We're going to offer the ASVAB here at Andrew. It's going to be the All Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. It's going to be offered on Thursday, April 22nd. Usually we do it in the fall, but didn't happen this year. But we do have our opportunity. Not only is this test given to individuals who are interested in joining the military, but it's also just a great way to learn a little bit more about your own interests and your skill sets along the way. The test is free and there's no obligation to join the military. So feel free to contact me or Mr. Zolk directly in the guidance office if you have any further questions about the test. And keeping with that, a lot of kids are talking about their plans for next year, where they're going to go, but we still have some of you out there who are still kind of trying to make some decisions, some hard decisions. I've got kids who are interested in wanting to go into the trades, whether it be through a technical program at Moraine Valley, or maybe it's going to be through the union itself or one of the vocational schools. We would like to talk with you about that. So if you're a trades kid who's still sitting on the fence, or you made a decision on what you want to do, please email me. Let's talk. I'd like to learn a little bit more about what you're doing with it. Okay. And in terms of the military, we've got some kids. Now we've got some kids who've committed and they're signed, sealed, and delivered, and they're going to get going. But then there's some of you who are still trying to make a decision. And I know Mr. Zolk would really like to talk with you about that. He's a great resource to talk to about that. So please reach out to us. Even though you're seniors, you're like, I'm in my last quarter, but we're still in this together, and we still want to, be able to help you out along the way as you make some pretty tough decisions along the way here. And some of you are still making decisions about the schools that you want to go to too. So a lot of deals with money and things like that. And feel free to reach out to every one of us for that, because I know I've done it a few times the last few weeks here talking with kids. All right, but finish up strong. We'll see what these last 7 weeks are going to be like after coming up here, and let's enjoy it. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Mrs. McGeehan.
Thank you, Mr. Malik. Okay, so we have talked a lot about the Google Classroom. I know a lot of you use it. I know a lot of you have never even looked at it. I want you to take a look real quick at how awesome this Google Classroom is. I'm terrible at sharing my screen. I'm learning all this stuff, you guys. Okay, so I'm hoping that my the class of 2021 guidance is showing. And I am on the classwork rather than the stream. This works for me. And it shows you all of the topics that they have painstakingly added things to help you guys transition through high school. So please, when you are looking for information, start here. It has a wealth of information at your fingertips of things that specifically you need to know as a senior at Andrew High School. Please, please, please use this as a resource, and obviously use us as resources too. But I really think that this is underutilized and just an amazing tool for you guys. Okay. So that was just another commercial because people have really put a lot of work into that. So we have brought up a ton of things today, so many things. So if you have questions, tomorrow we will have a virtual office hours, first period through eighth period. We know that Wednesdays, each teacher does things a little bit differently. You might have some independent work time. So we're just leaving it open all day. At all points, there will be someone in there to answer any questions you have about your post-secondary planning. And we will post that Google code in the Google Classroom. Please feel free to drop by and get your questions answered because we will be there waiting for you. So we're just very proud of the way that you guys have handled junior and senior year. We miss you. We know that you have tried your best. We have tried to make sure that it was the best, replicating as much as we could your high school experience. We implore you to please jump in and take part of the 21 for 21. They really just want you to end high school connected, having a good time, making sure that you really leave here with some really great memories. But before you leave, you have to make sure that your library books are turned in, that you're cleared up with the cashier. We don't know what the sign-out process is going to look like, but if in the back of your head, you're kind of thinking like, oh, shoot, I think I might be missing a library book, or maybe I have a cashier fee that my parents are going to want to talk to the cashier about. Don't wait. Go ahead and do that now. clear that up so there's less to do, less rigmarole to do in your last few weeks here at Andrew High School. So we hope to see you guys and be as involved in as many 21 for the class of 21 as possible. You're going to hear more about that as we go on. But please finish strong, ask questions if you need to, finish that homework. So we're asking you to do two things: have a really good time, but also take care of business. Okay. And we are here to help you with both. So thank you for your time and cooperation. And we are just enormously proud of you guys. Have a great day.